It's Friday. It is Friday. What's the date today? It is Friday. Why doesn't it say I'm on top of the stupid phone? Friday, October 17th. Holy shit. I'm still sick. Anyway, for all you anglers out there, years ago when I was first trying to figure out how I could film underwater and film salmon catching grabbing the gear, when I first pulled it off, it was really, really exciting for me. And I just found that clip. This is one of the first salmon I ever videotaped underwater, coming up and grabbing the large herring that I had spinning behind the boat. Check this out. Looks like he's coming our way. Hopefully we can scare him away. Back again. This microphone here. I use my laptop for the camera for this when I'm in here. So I can move it around all over the damn place. So that's why probably everything's a little different when I come in here. Now, it's Friday. I spent half the day in bed. I think Sarah thinks I have an infection in my head or something, unfortunately. It's kind of, you almost feel like you're going to pass out. So you start seeing blotchiness, dark blotchiness. Woke up. Well, I didn't sleep last night. I was up at midnight till 2. And I remember 3:30, and I remember 4:30 to 5:30. Anyway, bunch of weird crap coming out of my head, but I'm alive. Just wants to go to the doctor, maybe get some antibiotics, but I'm not into it. I'm going to go run around the woods tomorrow instead. I'm going to get up at 5 in the morning, jump in with my buddy. I'm going to drop my truck and my boat trailer off at the boat ramp in the dark. And we're going to take his truck and we're going to go off into the hills and look for some elk, grab some trail cameras and SD cards and shit, head out to the boats. I'm going to stay overnight on my boat, and then I'm going to run my boat all the way back in the inlet into town. I might even videotape it for it and bring you guys along with me, maybe. Or who knows, maybe I can even do a live. I could probably do a live on there, I think. And you guys can see that entire inlet. That might be pretty cool, actually. Maybe we'll do that, we'll see. Now, what's going on today? Who should I piss off today? Who should I make angry today? Usually somebody's angry at me every day for something. Something I'm not doing the way they want me to do it. Crazy, right? I can't seem to shake the wanting to rid the world of 50-year-old men or any men that marry little girls. I can't shake that one right now. It really bothers me a lot. It really bothers me a lot. That's worth going to war for. I don't give a shit what anybody says. That's worthy of going to war for that. Absolutely. Marrying a 6-year-old girl and making it official when she's 9. Doesn't that just make you... All right. I'll stop, but I can't help it. Now, this email is titled, sent in to us, and it's titled 2 Encounters 50 plus years ago. Okay. We got a whole bunch of stuff here. Okay. Steve, please do not use my name just yet. Call me Ole Peck for now. O-L-E? Ole Peck or Ole Peck? Okay, Peck. I knew some Pecks up north. Ross Peck, outfitter up north years ago. I need to tell my son, who's also my best friend and hunting partner since he was 5 and he's now 43. I've been watching your show for the past several years. I really enjoy all of your hunting and Sasquatch readings. Myself, like you, I believe are both huge black-tailed deer hunting fans. All right. If you've ever known how many black-tailed bucks I have taken, all good ones, by the way, I would likely be banned from ever taking another one. Right on. I had the fantastic privilege of hunting rights on 12,000 acres of private cattle ranch and several thousand acres of BLM land bordering it for over 40 years. There were only a very small handful of us allowed to hunt this ranch. The rules were simple and tough. Number 1, never bring anyone new onto the ranch without prior approval by the owner. Number 2, take only good mature bucks, 3x3s, points, or better. No knotheads. Number 3, dress and take care of every kill properly. Number 4, eat every last morsel of meat. Number 5, keep your mouth shut and do not brag about it or disclose to anyone about the ranch. Follow these rules as me and only a handful of friends had permission to hunt, and you could hunt on the ranch as long as deer population would allow. I have some unbelievable stories, no bullshit allowed. I'd love to tell you about it if we could ever meet in person someday. Or else you can come and hang on here with me, maybe. Oh, hold on a second. Sarah just bought me this hoodie. Left the tag on the back of the neck. Yeah, but come on here and just be bullshit about hunting one day if you wanted. I'd be all about that. Big time. So this brings me to my 2 significant encounters. One of my favorite areas to hunt was on a section of BLM land touching ranch. I named it the Hell Hole. And hell to hunt it was, no commas, hell to hunt it was. It took me several years to figure it out. Yeah, it usually does. Like you, I think I preferred to hunt alone in my early years, which made it even tougher. Over the years, I took a few friends in there. When the hunt was over, they all but one told me they would never go with me again. Haha. Yeah, not too many of my friends want to hunt with me either, because I grind them into the ground. Okay with me because they always bugged me too because of the bucks they would see me come home with. I quite often relied on this spot. It was so rugged, hot brush like you've never seen. You better like to work for big bucks to come out alive. One trip I was alone in there as usual. I pulled in late evening, too late to make hunt until morning. I'd usually sleep in the bed of the truck on a mattress. I like to read, propped up against the back of the cab with a lantern turned down on top of the cab. I never did require much sleep and still do not. Reading would help me sleep and get rest needed badly for these hunts. Sorry for the long story. I always had my 7mm Weatherby mag lying next to me at night. And I woke up to some odd jabbering, the lantern still burning low. I was in a state of half sleep, paralyzed, and could look around but could not move, no matter how hard I tried. Moving around my truck, there were 3 very big, tall, I guess, at 7 foot plus, golden to brown-haired beasts moving around my truck, jabbering. Jabbering that years later heard you and others talk about. They acted like I was the one in the zoo, and they were excited and jabbering about me. One of them was looking right over the bed of the truck at me and noticed me struggling hard to get hold of my rifle. And he yelled something in that odd garble to the others, and they took off. A few seconds later, maybe 30, I was able to grab my rifle and jump up, standing in the bed of my truck, and I heard them crashing through heavy brush down the bottom of the canyon. I was awake the rest of the night and alert, trying to figure out if it was a dream or / nightmare or real. I could not find any deer, and I mean anywhere in the area. 0. In 2 days of hunting. That week at home, I tried to tell myself it was a dream, and in my heart, I knew it was not. The next weekend, I went right back in and killed a big 4x4. Spent most of the day packing it out to camp. That night, something happened around 2 a.m. This time, I was a little pissed and broke spell and jumped up and put a round in the chamber and looked at them and said, "What the F?" They jabbered like hell and hauled ass. I think they were shocked to see me able to jump up. Steve, I swear to you on my 5 children and 11 grandchildren, this is true. This was 1972, and I still hunted that spot until early 2002. And I've never told this story until now. I'm 74 and still hunt and have all over the western states, California, Nevada, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, Colorado, taking mule deer, whitetail, elk, and blacktail. I know this has been a long one. Just call me Old Peck for now, and I will explain the nickname later. And thanks for what you're doing, Steve, and God bless you and family. And P.S., I'm moving to Montana to finish out my year's hunting, 2024, with my son and grandson. Would love to hook up sometime and tell some real crazy hunting stories with you sometime, and maybe a few lies too. Thanks, Old Peck. Appreciate you, man. I'd love to do that. Maybe think about it. Just strongly think about the possibility of just hanging out on here with me. And we can just bullshit like nobody's here. And all those who would enjoy to hear these experiences could sit back and listen. I would love that. If you're into it, let me know, my man. And good luck hunting. Good luck hunting. I love hunt stories. I love them. Love them. Real life stories. What's this? What? Private. All right. It's another one. Don't read it out loud publicly. Okay. I'll have to come back to that. This is titled Just a Thought. All right. Let's hear it. Good day, Steve. Not encounter Just for you, please don't share. Holy cow, that's 2 in a row. I'll have to come back and read that after. Fresh out of the pen, this email, I think it is titled The Deer Man. Hello, Steve. My name is Chuck Reed, and I have no problem with you using my name. You read my story about a year ago. I had one of these people, a 7-foot-tall, naked female covered in wet hair with jet black eyes standing over my bed. Wow. I'd wake up to something touching my chest, and there she was. After about 3 to 5 seconds, she would vanish, as if she were beamed away as if in a Star Trek film. This shit happened every night for damn near 2 weeks. I'm not ashamed to say that I was terrified to go to sleep. No doubt. That's crazy. Anyway, this email isn't about me. It's about a person that I've known for over 4 decades. Her name is Loretta. And after she saw the video about my story, she decided to tell me what happened to her last August near her home in College Station, Texas. She gave me permission to share her story with the Howdon family, so here it goes. While she, Loretta, and her daughter Emily were driving home on the outskirts of College Station, they were about 2 miles away from home on a private road that leads to their home. They live in a pretty rural area, and the nearest neighborhood is about 3 miles away. It was about 8:30 p.m., and there were no lights on the road. And so she was driving moderately slow because there were deer all over the property and she didn't want to hit one. Her daughter was on the passenger side messing around on her phone, looked up and said, "What in the hell is that?" That's when Loretta noticed 4 deer standing on the right side of the road about 40 feet away. Then she noticed a man standing there in the middle of the small herd. A naked man. As she got closer to the herd, the deer crossed in front of the car, moving from right to left. And as she got closer, the person standing there, she said that she could see that his stomach was bulged out just like that of a pregnant woman. And his legs. She said that the lower part of his body was distorted and looked like that of a deer, except his knees were bent backwards. And as they got closer, she said that his eyes were glossy black, and he had no hair on his head. It walked in front of the car as Loretta eased her off the accelerator to get a better look at this creature. I think she meant eased her foot off the accelerator to get a better look at this creature. She said this creature was about 5 feet away from her door when she looked into its eyes and felt an overwhelming sense of sadness. That's when she said out loud, "It's okay, you're welcome to stay on our property as long as you don't hurt me or my daughter." Then she gave it the peace sign. Holy shit. It was at that moment she heard Emily yelling at her, "Mom, snap out of it. Why in the hell did you invite that thing to stay on our property?" That's when she came to her senses and floored it. She said that she could see whatever this thing was chasing the vehicle through the rearview mirror up until it faded away into the darkness. She told me that her daughter was terrified beyond reason at what just happened, but for some reason she decided to not inform Emily that she had saw this creature in the woods once before. And like you said, Steve, why would you keep something like that secret? Right? Loretta told me that her grandfather, who happens to be First Nations, had also saw this creature on several occasions. I spoke with an African traditional healer about this incident, and he told me that in the Lukumi faith, L-U-C-U-M-I faith, that there are stories about this creature, and the description of this creature is identical to what Loretta and her daughter saw. And one last thing, Steve. As a person of color, aka a black man, I may not agree with your views in regards to Charlie Kirk, but I agree with you in that everyone has a right to be heard. I said it then, and I'll say it again. You kick more ass than a donkey. I hope to look you in the eyes and shake your hand someday, Chuck. And my hand to shake yours too, Chuck. Appreciate you, man. And I love it. I love that we can all just frickin' hang out here and talk and say how we feel and not shit on anybody and still hang out and be friends. Right? I'm sure we could be great friends, Chuck. Appreciate you, man. Now that being that you just messaged, and there's some folklore about that exact same being somewhere else, I'd like to hear more about it. So what have you learned about that creature? Is there anything bad with it? Is it a innocent, harmless thing, or has it been noted to take children or eat people or do whatever, any dark side shit? You know what I mean? I'd be interested to hear that, but I think that's the first time I've ever heard that description of something like that here. We've definitely heard about goat people, some sort of alleged, like goat feet and legs on a human form somewhat. Creepier than shit. But anyway, I wonder if anybody else out there has seen this thing. If you have, you know what to do. Email it or throw it down in the comment section below this video, okay, you guys? Appreciate you, man. Keep us up to date with your puzzle. All right, this next email is titled, Found a Story That Relates to Dogmen. All right. Hola, Steve and Sabe family from Philadelphia, PA Hood. I've been in Philadelphia. Just found this for the How to Hunt family. Food for thought. As always, your loyal member, U.S. Army Infantry Combat Veteran / your banner guy, Sergeant Jesse Montanez. Montanez? Sorry, man. I hope I didn't butcher it. At your service. Appreciate you, Jesse, sir. And this is a screenshot. Okay? Screenshot. I'm reading it. Amorok, the Inuit folklore. Amorok originates from Inuit mythology, depicted as a giant wolf that preys on those who venture too far into the wilderness. The creature symbolizes the dangers of nature and serves as that was it. All right. Gotcha. That name was mentioned in an email, what, a day ago? 2 days ago? Got it and shared. What's this? I don't know. I don't think this is an experience. This is long. Holy cow. Oh, this is that. Somebody sent me a PDF with 11 pages. Well, let's have a little bit of a go here. I don't know what it's about. All right? You just don't know. You don't know what's coming our way. Do you know what I mean? We just don't know if it's going to be helpful or not until we dive in together, sitting here at our coffee table. Nothing rehearsed, nothing pre-looked at. This is titled, The Way, 16, Angels. Angel, 1. Number 1, theology. An immortal spiritual being attendant upon God. In medieval angelology, there are 9 orders of spiritual beings, from the highest to the lowest in rank, and they are seraphim, cherubim, thrones, dominations or dominions, virtues, powers, principalities, archangels, and angels. B. The conventional representation of such a being in the image of a human figure with a halo and wings. Number 2, a guardian, spirit or a guiding influence. Number 3, a kind and lovable person. B. One who manifests goodness, purity, and selflessness. Middle English from Old English, engel and or Old French angela, both from late Latin angelus, from late Greek angelus, from Greek messenger. The American Heritage Dictionary of English Language, quote, in heaven an angel is nobody in particular, end quote. George Bernard Shaw, 1856 to 1950, Anglo-Irish playwright critic, Man and Superman, Maxims for Revolutionists, Greatness, 1903. Jinn, jinni, plural of jinn. In Muslim legend, a spirit capable of assuming human or animal form and exercising supernatural influence over people. Genie is the English spelling. The American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language. What are angels? Question mark. For eons, mankind has asked this question. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? Why is that? For eons, man has wondered who the angels are, what they are. Isn't that interesting? This way, chapter answers in a way you probably haven't heard before. There is purpose behind my covering this topic at this particular time. In coming way chapters, it will be necessary for you to know what angels are in order to understand the role they have played in mankind's development. I hope you enjoy the topic we're about to explore. Various philosophies, religions, and dogmas list or categorize a number of different types of angels. In the Christian religion, it has been said there are 9 types of angels. In Islam, they are called jinn and are basically categorized into 2 distinct groups, good and bad. In truth, there are 2 types of angels, and within of these 2 subtypes. They are as follows. Ethereal, or spiritual angels, good, evil. Psychic angels, good, evil. In other words, there are beings called angels who are spirit beings, and they are physical beings that mankind has mistakenly associated with the former. This is a very important concept, and is one we have covered before. You should already know that man has defied the Doma, calling them goddesses, and the male members of the collective gods. People living long ago had no conception of the technology of the Doma, possessed, D-O-M-A, possessed. To the people of Jesus or Muhammad's day, an aircraft would have been a great thundering bird. They could not have possibly understood the basics of thermodynamics or aerodynamics. To them it was magic, and the only beings capable of such magic were the gods and their angels. Before we go any further, there's something I must make clear. Just because mankind has mistaken advanced beings for spiritual beings, and almost all of his religious literature includes this confusion, it does not mean that there are not spiritual beings. Mankind mistook the Doma for God, but that does not mean that there is not a supreme intelligence or a force in the universe. The Doma, it's caps D-O-M-A, themselves believe in just such a supreme spiritual force. They call it the One. The same idea applies to angels. Nearly all of the angels mentioned in the Bible are, in actuality, physical, collective, or Doma humans. This does not mean that there are not spiritual angels. As a matter of fact, there are, and the Doma know this as a fact. What is important now is that you learn to distinguish between collective humans and spiritual entities. This is exactly what we're going to explore. How do you tell the difference between a visiting Doma and a genuine spiritual angel? The best way for you to see the difference is to look at a couple of genuine examples. There are certain indicators of S angels, spiritual angels, and C angels, collective angels. Before we look at distinct events involving the 2 types, let me point out some of the obvious distinction details. First, S angels are spirits of departed humans that have not yet reincarnated in human bodies here on earth. Until now, you have been taught that angels were spiritual beings created by God and have not ever incarnated into physical bodies. The following verse from the Christian Bible is an example of this dogma. PS 8:5. For thou hast made him a little lower than the angels, and hast crowned him with glory and honor. In this verse, we are told that man was created by God at a slightly lower quality level than an angel. This verse has nothing to do with spiritual beings. It is a statement concerning the collective and the genetic manipulation they performed on your pre-human ancestors. In Christianity, God is seen as a separate entity from all other entities around him, in a place called heaven. In truth, the spiritual beings who inhabit the realm of existence, known as heaven, are part of and integral to the basic force known as the One. This is, in fact, the basis of... Excuse me. This is, in fact, the basis of the name, the One. The One is the combined life force of all things. There's no separation. If you remember, I described the big heaven and all the little heavens that surround each planet with life on it in a previous Way chapter. It is from this little version of heaven that surrounds the earth that S-angels come from. At this point, we need to distinguish even further the concept of S-angels. We need to distinguish between S-angels and ghosts. A ghost is a spiritual entity that instead of joining its fellow spiritual entities in the little heaven and becoming part of a miniature version of the One, gets trapped in the earthbound existence. S-angels, on the other hand, are part of a collective life force, a miniature one. They are able to draw upon powers and forces not available to single entities or ghosts. Let's sum up what we've covered so far. S-angels are not ghosts, but are earth humans that exist in the spiritual collective surrounding this world. Sea angels, on the other hand, are collective humans and are, for the most part, easily distinguishable in physical appearance from E-hums. To understand this, review the classifications articles that are part of the Way archives. This should give you the physical characteristics of collective humans. For the most part, you will find that sea angels are very tall, fair-skinned, and extremely fine-featured. S-angels, of course, will reflect all the various species of humans now on this planet. All right, this is going to go on for a long time, so I'm going to chop it off there, all right? Because I can't sit here for, it looks like to be an hour plus talking about angels. Not today, but I could continue on with this on another day because we have voices we need to be heard too, all right? Now, start here. I'll put a little note there where to start again when I get back to this. Looks like it goes on to some incidents, which is good, so we can learn. All right, got it. I'll jump into this again. Y'all continue with this later, all right? We'll do little excerpts here and there. It looks like it's going to get quite interesting. What's this one? Didn't I already read this? It's not marked as read, but I'm going to read it. Excuse me. Corbin Dallas. Angels and demons and zealots. Oh my. Hi, Steve. Hope all is well and you're having a great start to this weekend. Below is a comment I left on your last video. A Tucker Carlson piece of the puzzle. This is to all my How to Hunt brothers and sisters, my friends. A coin always has two sides, as does this very important topic. All the UFOs seen around the world come from the collective. It is comprised of trillions of super technologically advanced human beings. You see, my friends, the true human race is out there amongst the stars. We Terrans are provisional members of a greater human species. Not quite there yet, I'm afraid. The goddesses I've spoken of as the ladies are a military, political, and social order comprised of human women. This order is known as the Daughters of Ma, M.A. Many religions view UFOs and their occupants as being demonic or fallen angelic in nature. I highly recommend Tucker Carlson's recent show, an interview with Dylan Borland, for reference. I also very highly recommend the book by Chris Bledsoe, The UFO of God, for the other side of the same coin. And last but not least, I humbly recommend my own recent email to Steve, Corbin Dallas, Way 16 Angels. I hope he'll get a chance to read it soon. I think you will all enjoy it and find it fascinating, a fascinating new perspective on this topic. Have a great weekend, all my How to Hunt sisters and brothers, your friend Corbin Dallas. All right, so guess that was what I was reading before I read this. All right, man, there you go. We did it. But I'll make sure I continue on again, okay, man? Appreciate that. It's a lot of time you've donated to us here. All right, this doesn't seem to be our typical Friday here today, but let's get into this one. This is titled Violent War. This seems to be a common theme lately around the planet. I gotta plug my phone in here. I think it's gonna crap out on me. Where are we? Hold on a second. This is sent in August 29th. So it's fairly recent. Dear Steve, my name is James. It has taken me a long time to get up my nerve to write you this letter. I suppose the fear of ridicule and shame have more control over me than I realized. I've listened to you on your How to Hunt channel for about 4 or 5 years now and was impressed to continue watching from the first time I heard your no-nonsense attitude. I realized quickly you were truly authentic concerning both your hunting skills and the subject of Bigfoot. I've never been one to just randomly listen to people telling stories about what they experienced, but you impressed me because of your real approach to life and hunting. It's as if I could discern immediately the difference between a fake soul that's trying to impress weak people and a true soul that just does his passions and does not need to explain or impress anyone. I tried to live my life of doing and being to the fullest of my potential. So being impressed by average was rare. If I ever see a person doing something to get attention, I choose to delete. Yeah, same. So thank you for your honest, authentic ways. Appreciate the kind words, man. It's too easy. Those that have done the most say the least. Yet here I go trying to explain the history. Bear with me. As I look back over the years and consider the amount of time I've spent in the wilderness, I, like you, have lived a free life. I pretty much grew up as a Rocky Mountain brat and spent most of my years chasing mountain lions and big bull elk in windy Wyoming and Montana wilderness. Hunting was a way of life for our family as I grew up under the guidance of my father, the late John Schultz of American Longbow Company. We were traditional archers by trade, and so every type of hunting and exploration into the backcountry was natural to me. And note, at this point in my life, I don't care if you use my name because time is short and words are cheap. Pain is real, death is certain, and people are strange and becoming intellectually asinine. Yet, observable experiences are truthful and valuable. I think it was General George Crook that said, quote, I refuse to subject myself to the ridicule of men who are unfamiliar with my reputation, end quote. You don't need to explain, nor do I need to explain the sheer depth of research one undergoes in the crucible of a lifetime in the wilderness. From long line trapping, to grizzly bear charges, to huge mountain lions, to surfing waves and diving the oceans. Living, not existing, was my motto. Living to the fullest of my potential is what God allowed me to do and to be. I believe this was given to me early in life when I was in a horrible accident that almost cut my life short. I appreciate life to an extreme. It almost is to my own demise. I'm very passionate about everything. The amount of anomalies that I've seen, witnessed, and been involved in are quite a few. The supernatural work of the Most High God is my foundation. My father was a minister of the gospel of good news of Jesus Christ for 60 years before he passed some years ago. And I've been a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ for over 20 years. I raised 6 children with my beautiful wife by the sweat of our brow. And to write this and tell some of my stories and experiences is very difficult, as it goes in absolute contrast to the modern, fake Christian insanity and cemetery philosophy of American Babylonian churchlessness. Personally, I must tell you I despise fake and dead religious systems. They are in the same proportion as the false fake news on the Tell Me the Vision /TV. So to speak of this mystery that has been kept back by many people for fear of ridicule, I must speak. The reality presented to us as children is what we consider truth, whether it's ugly or beautiful, whether it's dark or light, whether it's true or false. It is still our presented reality. It may take a lifetime of hardships to unravel these mysteries and come to truth, but truth will prevail. I've been silently and quietly listening to the unbelievable multitudes of human souls expressing their experiences on your channel, almost in disbelief with my jaw hanging on the floor. So many things that have been spoken of on your channel have resonated with me, and others who have hid behind a bit of a phony religious system with no answers to explain the observable. This is a horrible syndrome in our world. Not religious and political darkness that promotes false science. It has been used to pull over our heads a false ideal created by the masters of illusion and lies, with no way for humanity to explain the obvious. Actually, they use peer pressure tactics to humiliate everyone that challenges their false narratives. I shudder in my soul and am sad often at this mentality. Some of the most ignorant human beings in the history of the world seem to be living in this, our present generic generation. I may sound like I'm babbling, but I have so much to say in so little time. Truly, I'm disgusted at the entire system of artificial. It was once said when a man separates from the natural world, his soul becomes hard. The reason we are in the condition that we are in as a society is because of our sad departure from the garden of God in the natural world into the illusion and matrix of artificial fake life. I'm not saying everyone is involved with this, yet I see multitudes addicted to the screen. Man, this is hard. When you say to send our story to tellmystory.com, truthfully, I don't know how to begin. The reason I gave you some of my Christian background was to hopefully allow others that have been caught in a stupor of religion without true experience to be able to pull their head out of their glass stomach so as to possibly have hope and grow in understanding past their weak and obscure belief system. Many today having to dig deep and go past the rules into a view of observable facts and truth. I'm not rejecting the true faith of Jesus Christ, but I'm saying you better dig deeper than surface teaching that reveals the true Jesus from the fake. There are many books and many teachings that have been withheld on purpose from the souls of humanity. This was done by the dark master of evil. He and his dark doctrine is always found hiding behind fake and dead wicked religious names for the purpose of destroying untold millions of souls. Just look at the talking fake news heads today. They parrot what their masters tell them, whether it's in the lying tongue of the wicked one or the news casting of the dead or religious centers of worship, which in fact is one big whore's ship. That is, they load up the boats of fake news with merchandise of the souls of man, with whorish, filthy philosophies of the dead, and they drag the souls of men into it. This ship is going down, and it seems to be slowly sinking in the waves of lies. This doctrine is found in the depths of all sensual, bad, dead belief systems. I may be ranting a little, but it's because I see the fake system clearly. Many of us do. The depths of Satan are real. Absolutely. Even Satan himself is transformed as an angel of light. It's not hard, then, for me to understand the outflow of manifestations of entities beyond our comprehension. Sadly, if the Church of the Living God was seen in society as the helm of the ship for truth and understanding, then that was broken a long time ago. Wasn't it ever? It seems to me that without a divine course set on God's word, the truth will always be spoken evil of. The source of truth comes from the lips of truth, and anything other than that is based on another source called the father of lies. If the Holy Spirit of love, joy, peace, and righteousness is withdrawn, what can we expect? Or, if righteousness exalts a nation that we know sin is going to bring it down. Or, if righteousness exalts a nation, then we know sin is going to bring it down. If we know the truth shall set you free, then lies will put you in prison. Yes, Jesus Christ said, quote, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. And without that, if error is what you want, then hell is what you'll have. Even critical thinking would tell you that a nation that forgets God will be turned into hell. History proves it. The people that worship lawlessness will be vomited from the earth. So, when we talk of nations, tongues, peoples, and religions, we must speak correctly. Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, Sabe, dogmas, skinwalkers, Nephilim, Rephaim, giants, dragons, moo people, Menehunes, and 1,000 other anomalies are all real. Steve, the Yeti and the Bigfoot issue is only a pinprick on the canvas of time and history of a race of those that could be a result of the fallen angels' technology or eugenics programs gone wrong. They are those that left their celestial home and their divine nature and defied God, hybridized bastards of the fallen angels. They blasphemed his covenant and mated with women to bring forth not only a eugenics program upon man, but everything that was a living creation made by God. Read Michael Heischer's, Heiser's book on reversing Hermon. It's excellent. It will help your understanding even more on the subject of reversing the system of the dead. Read R.H. Charles' Book of Enoch. Everyone and everything that God made good and upright, the fallen angels wanted to corrupt and defile it. The wicked one, the dragon, the devil, or the Satans, basically are a representation or a doctrine of the anti-truth, anti-God, anti-justice, anti-Christ, anti-human philosophy. Their goal has been to defile everything that God made good and upright and beautiful in this creation for man. Long after a person is dead, his or her doctrine can remain and influence souls. The wicked one is like this, yet the wicked one is not infinite and eternal. He is a finite, created being that for some reason is tolerated and allowed in this, his generational injustice, almost to the point of being overwhelmingly frustrating to man. It is actually a perpetual doctrine passed down through the seed of the serpent, false light bearer, from one generation to the next. Why does God do this? Why does God allow this? I'm not God. In my 30 years of study, though, I have come to the conclusion that there is good found only in the Most High God, and there is evil in that which is not of God, the most low. Why is food pleasant and honey sweet to the taste? Yet that which is beneath our most low is corrupt and vile and stinks as it is cast out into the sewer. Heaven above, hell beneath. Many folks could call every story that you have read a flat-out lie, but that's an impossibility. Why? Because in the Scriptures, even according to the law of God, it says, "In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall every word be established." Your channel is given witness to experience after experience, and this, in fact, causes hope to others. Without hope, there is shame. I'm so frustrated at the thoughts of humanity these days because the system of evil is trying to defer hope. Hope deferred causes shame. Censoring truth causes shame because it takes away hope. Yet, you, Steve, have given a platform for a lot of people to move past the illusion into the observable truth that God gave us in every step that we take on this wonderful earth. The Enochian writings, especially the first book of Enoch, translated by R.H. Charles, though it be not canonized in the King James Bible, that some say, is one of the most profound teaching on man's history. I believe it to be externally canonized by an internal usage of apostles that used it freely. Jude, Peter, Paul. It was used more than one time in the Bible, and not only did it influence the writings of the prophets and the teachings of the law of Moses, it is found permeating even the teachings of Jesus Christ. Even Paul the Apostle declared in the book of Hebrews that Enoch had this testimony, that he pleased God. Why do I say this? because it has a great influence on the understanding of things that you are trying to portray to the listening ear for your audience. I actually do not believe that the fullness of the scriptures can truly be appreciated in a greater depth without having read and understood the apocryphal writings and those books that were withheld from the scriptures. First and Second Esdras, the lost book of Isaiah, the lost book of Adam and Eve, Yasher, and Jubilees, to name a few. I understand that the teachings of the Zohar, Nag Hammadi texts, and other mystery religions have poorly affected and influenced many teachings of canonized biblical scripture after the fact. Yet for those well-read and learned, it may be of benefit. Yet for those ignorant and unlearned, it may be a detriment. I emphasize the importance of Enoch, and I think it's pronounced Yasher, Jasher, as they give many accounts of the subject of the giants. The Nephilim, or the fallen ones as they should properly be called, are exactly what Jude in his epistle wrote about. I have read the R.H. Charles version of Enoch well over 100 times in study. I believe this truly is the best translation. I would go so far to say that in itself is one of the greatest influencers of the Bible as we know it. The danger in a lot of these books is they have been manipulated away from the original into more of a mysticism, revised and revised until they're not what the original intended. Even the Bible has been revised and rewritten into so many perversion that they can't even be taken serious. That is what has happened to the news. I believe everything is in proportion to the Word of God. When God's true science is perverted, man's science will be promoted. When his garden and food is perverted, man-made crap will be exalted as health. This is in fact health. When his truth is withheld from man and schools and church and news, it will be replaced with fake everyone and everything. When true preventative medical practices are replaced with toxic pharma symptoms management programs, death is the result. We've been lied to consistently from birth in every generation since the fall of man. When you spoke about an alteration of DNA, it's true. Man's very divine nature was taken from him and replaced with a corrupt, fallen, sinful nature under the headship of a satanic, demonic, devilish design. It's hard to get the dead masses to see or hear or feel anything, and that is why I write. I read in hopes that someone would start digging deeper than what is presented in nominal, pathetic, and weak religious institutions. One might then understand that the death of the soul of man is at stake. The amount of anomalies and strange events that are starting to happen all over the world are another fabrication of satanic influence. And you better believe it, Steve. We are going to see such strange and evil things that the minds unprepared will die because they cannot comprehend it. The Bigfoot mystery is just the tip of a tiny little dot on the sphere and enormity of what is going to come. Sadly, we are just starting to see things that others hid from us. Systematic manipulation from birth. Wait until post-humanism comes in its full reality. Transhumanism is just the transitory or transportation of humans into non-human form. Augmented humanity. Chimeras. These are soon coming. We are in just the beginning stages of sorrows. Itchy nose. Wait until optogenetics comes to fruition. We actually are only seeing the garage sale items of technology. What is hidden is incomprehensible. If we don't become violent for the truth, we will be overcome with the violence of evil and lies. I so appreciate you, brother. The Most High has given you a platform, so use it to magnify His truth. We are in a violent battle of spiritual life or spiritual death. The human soul must be protected at all cost. God dwells only in temples not defiled with corrupt human or demonic hands of any alteration. There may come a time that that what God made in his image and that he chooses dwells in may become corrupted, so as to become a non-man or defiled temple. Look well into your soul, man, because in time they filthy elite systems will decode your DNA as man/women into a tool of ownership by the master of Babylon. How? Through everything. Food, water, indoctrination, pills, sex, movies, air, dust. In time, everything will be corrupted. The Bible says that the Lord will destroy those that destroy the earth. And that's speaking about our own tabernacle that our soul dwells in and the terrestrial earth we walk on. For too long, the human family has been lied to, also in what they are. Who you are is the lie of Satan, yet what you are is divine creation from the Most High. Fully disclosures are not full disclosures if truth is hidden, and if men are trained in a satanic deception to have rejected the truth. I don't care how many movies and documentaries are made considering aliens, Bigfoot, skinwalkers, ghost hunters, werewolves, and the list goes on. These mean nothing, and have no explanation if there is a complete rejection of the Word of God and His authority. The theory of devolution/devil's solution has no answers. Remember, true history is His story. History, His story. Oh, that's kind of cool. His-story, history. God's, not Darwin. He had no answers, and on his deathbed recanted of many of his doctrines. This may be offensive to many, but I reject the theories of men having created a computer or a home and then try to tell me that it just appeared with its own big bang. No. It was created by someone that gathered the information, the tangible tools and parts, and put it all together. This may offend the useful idiots that hold to the dark, evil, popular worldview that explains away the Most High God. The goal is to destroy everything connected to Him, the original Creator, filled with authenticity and majesty. Yet outside of original truth of our divine Creator, all the philosophies of blind and sick men are weak and pathetic and ignorant. We are under and have been under a Luciferian system of corruption. Absolutely agree. Through the ages, the influence of the wicked one has destroyed lives and cultures. At this point in my life, I have questioned everything through God's Word and have found this. Let God be true, and every man a liar. Even the teaching of the Dark Ages is a lie. It's the opposite of what is called. Nicholas Copernicus and his Jesuit doctrine of our earth is a lie. NASA is built upon his lies. Hollywood pseudoscience working with other perverts like Aleister Crowley and Jake Parsons and Walt Disney have corrupted the minds of generations. One must look past the present, presented illusion of obvious, crafted reality into the past of the true, to see clearly. One must walk by faith and not by sight. Remember, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Why? Because what is obviously seen is a lie of the dark master of this prison earth. I can't call it a planet because that's a wandering star. That's what Jude called the Nephilim in his epistle. Wandering stars. Earth is steadfast, not like Hollywood witches' wands tell you. The epicenter of demonic sorcery laden with witchcraft and fallen angel idolatry is in the city of the lost angels, or lost angels. Watch the intro of all Paramount Pictures film. The fallen stars come from heaven and touch the waters or womb of earth, thus creating their own augmented hybrid race. They then ascend over the Pyramid Mount to be worshipped. Everyone is affected and addicted to what they see on a screen or in a book of deducation, indoctrination. Look at how everyone stares at the black occult mirror on the phone or every screen. This is Black Magic 101. The steel is through the eyes. They are the windows to the soul. Steve, everything is a lie. Watch The Truman Show. It's all artificial control of humanity. Even though the Dark Master sits in his false realm pulling our strings, as in The True Man Show, he, the true man, and is seeing through the lie based upon life. Yes, true men and women know they are sovereign and are made in the divine image of the Most High. This is what is made fun of by satanic mockery. We are all true men and true women, yet how the wicked one wants to make us all trans men and augmented women. Read Romans, ch1, ch-3. The reason Jesus Christ came and walked on water and rose from the dead was because of the issues surrounding the fallen ones. When Jesus went 40 days and 40 nights into the wilderness, it was with purpose. The Most High had an age-old controversy to fix: ownership of man that was stolen in the garden. DNA change is worth a fight to retrieve the soul of a man from our enemy of the soul. Yes, Jesus defeated the evil, I believe. I believe that on that same Mount Hermon, where the fallen angels descended and left their first celestial state and rebelled against the authority of God, was the entrance of sin upon man. They came down there and broke the covenant and made an oath against God and intended to try to defile everything of God, especially his prized and most treasured creation, man. In the Gospels, it is recorded that Jesus went up from Caesarea Philippi into the wilderness. You can read that in Matthew chapter 4, and defeated the evil in his own stomping ground. How? By the written word of God. Yes, he defeated the devil by saying it is written in the scripture 3 different times. You're dealing with the descendants of the Nephilim, the giants, offspring, not the actual Nephilim. Thus, the descendants of the giants after the flood are what we would call Rephaim, such as the giants in records of the wars of the Jews by Josephus or Moses, Joshua, and King David's biblical accounts. The names of references in Strong's exhaustive biblical concordance would be names like Zamzumims, Anakins, Og, king of Bashan, Goliath, etc. One story that was recorded was when King David's mighty men slew 2 lion-like men. All Bigfoot anomalies, in my opinion, and it's just that are manifestations of the descendants of the Nephilim, whether it's astral projection or imagery or tangible hands-on manifestation. Interdimensional beings? Yes. Remember the scriptures in 1 Corinthians chapter 11:13-14 that say, "And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed as an angel of light." This is shape-shifting. Quote, "There is nothing new under the sun," end quote, said Solomon the wise king. What was yesterday will be today, and what's today will be tomorrow. This is fact. Sadly, Steve, we are dealing with a mass of waterhead humanity that has been dumbed down to the point of believing whatever the Master 33 presents them with. If you have snared coyotes or wolves, then you know what waterhead when you see one. Yeah, I thought that's what you were referring to. Study gematria. The occult communicate through the signs and symbols and values of numbers. After the Tower of Babel, when the wickedness of men under Nimrod's rule was exceedingly great, God confused their languages and they could only communicate through symbols. Yes, we are moving towards the second rising of Babylon called the New World Order. But that's just old world theology, financial institutions, political schemings, and New Age religious teachings of Babylon. The doctrine of Luciferianism. The doctrine of Luciferianism is real. And in Isaiah chapter 14, he speaks clearly of Lucifer as a Babylonian king. He calls him son of the morning. Son of the who? That interprets into Shakar. This has been stated by many scholars as Shakar, one of the Nephilim, or one of the original fallen angels. Why do I say this? Because when Jesus defeated the wicked one on Mount Hermon, it was the place of origin of the fallen angels. There's a book written by one Michael Heiser, Heiser, called Reversing Hermon. It may be something you should read. Steve, I encourage you and pray for you, and you don't even know it. You've been put in a position by the Most High God to allow a platform to be built for individuals to speak the truth uncensored. When I first started listening to you, it was tongue-in-cheek. Then I started realizing you can't make this shit up. Then I started dealing with my own history of the real and the dangerous. I started asking myself questions about situations I'd been in that I had no explanation for. And I say this to encourage individuals that hide behind the illusion and mask of religious belief systems. Sadly, most of them are so pathetic and weak they submit at the slightest challenge. I mean, think about this. The very so-called churches that are supposed to be walking in faith and courage and not loving their lives unto the death bowed to the... and not living their lives unto the death bowed to the COVIDiot syndrome. These modern-day churches are pathetic and embarrassingly ignorant. It made me sick to see the men and women in church leadership put on their mask and run into a closet and ceased and dismissed their activities as a Bible-believing church. They obeyed the master of Babylon for a fear of some man-made bioweapon. It's disgusting and embarrassing. When I see the quote, churchlessness leadership, they vomit out their belief system while getting paid as hireling turncoats. They do it on those they say they are leading to heaven. Shame on all you that have done this and worse. I personally curse, pronounce judgment and shame and woe upon every individual that has turned his back in the day of battle. I call woe and damnation to the systems of religious indoctrination, scum that traffic children and merchandise souls for blood and profit. I call true men and women everywhere to give no quarter in this righteous war. I see you evil pricks, and I call shame and exposed embarrassment to those that capitulate to the path of least resistance and evil so that you may temporarily save your own filthy, greedy, slimy ass. Embarrassingly, you all know who you are. We heard you fools say, we were just doing it for the greater good. Seriously. As the Planned Parenthood Bill Gates Foundation kills 3,000 babies a day, public health concerns, F you bastards and product whores. It's never been about health, but their own created health. Yet, not only did the Lord see this lie, but we all saw. My prayer is this. Through this attack of spiritual demonic forces against the world of wonderful men and women, those that capitulated to their own stupidity, ignorance, and foolishness, somehow they would be no more. This sounds severe, but in fact it's kind of like they culled themselves. Steve, I don't hate to say this, but if hell is what society wants, then hell is what they will have. I may seem a little random in my conversation, but I have too many points to make and not enough space. You must understand I'm 51 years old, and I've kept this stuff to myself most of my life because I cannot find a platform to explain anything that I've observed and seen and been witness to. Sadly, we are stupefied in our religion, politics, materialism, sick foods, pathetic entertainment, deranged way of thinking, and cultural sickness that nobody can comprehend truth, even in an observable way. Why I say observable is because it's right before your frickin' eyes, people. Look up. The sun is in motion. Look up every night. The moon is in motion, and the heavens are in motion. Yes, the stars are set in the firmament, and they are there every day and every night. only moving in and out based on seasons. Look at your feet walking on the earth. It's solid and steadfast. Water is level, the sea is level, and yes, sea level is true. These are observable facts. The giants and the remains are observable facts. Mud fossil history are observable facts. Yes, animals of enormity were on this earth, died and were fossilized. Observable facts show proper science, yet science, falsely so-called, can make up whatever the hell it wants. We've been fed shit science our whole life. How can it be life when the F for freedom is removed? Come on, people, how is it possible the effing idiots on lamestream TV can only show us scratchy, obscure, dim, fuzzy, gray, and blurry films of UFOs? Are you serious, you stupid idiots? You can somehow land an effing helicopter on Mars with instant communications, transmissions, and I somehow still get broken reception on my phone? Are we insane? I mean, really. These elite pricks are laughing at the drones of humanity. They show old films of UFOs and tease you with lies. Think of this. We still drive on highways that have a yellow frickin' lines that divides traffic from each other. What the F? Death is a result in insurance companies' profit. You mean we can't change that idea? Wait, people, we must change the petroleum lord's profits. You know where you are? You're in a jungle, baby. You're gonna die. Everything is a big, fat, scientific lie. I always believed that true science, not science, was theory based upon facts. Yet we have the enormous quagmire of Scientology that have created a world view which I believe to be an illusion of theory based upon billions and billions and billions of light years of time, based upon missing the observable and creating the magical. Multitudes, and I mean multitudes, are under the spell of sorcery, of pharmaceutical waste dumps. Mix that with stupid magic shows on Tell Me the Vision TV. It's frustrating to speak with mind-controlled zombies. I've often retired into my own thoughts until now. Steve, this first letter to you can and will be an introduction. I have many more thoughts to bring you and crazy stories and anomalies that have filled my life. A proper place to talk about these things would be around a campfire in the wilderness with no cell phones and a light snow falling mid-September. Thanks for all you do, James. Whew! There you go. Shared, my man. Appreciate you. We can relate to each other on much there. And I'm sure there's a lot of people here who can relate too. And of course, going to be a lot of people that sighed, got bored, and went away. Oh, well, whatever. We all get heard, we all get listened to, and take from what you will, leave it, right? But there's a lot of truth you just shared there. There's a lot of truth shared there. Everything is a lie. I've been preaching that for a long time. Every single thing is a freaking lie. All I can do is encourage people to please try to get out there in the real world, out there in that fresh air, the wind, the ground in your toes. Ground yourself out, very important. Disconnect yourself from the horse shit, the evil sons of bitches. Get in tune with where you're supposed to be in tune with. Clear your mind. Eat healthy. Drink that clean water. Healthy food. It makes a huge difference, right? It makes you see clearly. I bite my lip every single day I'm on here. I bite my lip. I try not to go on big long rants. Our friend James here just he donated a lot of his time to everybody here, and he was heard. Appreciate you, man. And there you go. What do you think about that one? Hasn't been your average day here sharing people today, has it? But everybody gets heard. Something's got to pop, right? If you've been watching what's going on in the real world and not turning away. Excuse me. Something's going to pop here pretty quick. There's a lot coming down the pipe. Holy shit. Something's going to pop. I hope all the good people are safe. I hope everybody just stops one day. That'd be great. That'd be so awesome if everybody just stopped. I have somebody comment, yeah, but we're in debt. We won't be able to pay our bills and they'll take everything from us. If we all stop, they'll perish. And we'll take care of each other just fine. All it takes is for everybody to stop. That's it, man. Just stop. Just stop feeding the beast. Be brave. Have courage. Know that you're going to be fine. Know that like-minded, kind people we're going to take care of each other. It's easy. It's just that the dark sons of bitches have somehow convinced the majority of you that you need them to take care of you. The great lie, right? One of the great lies. Well, that'd be awesome if we could just stop. Just stop. You know? But anyway. All right, there we go. I'm going to have to go get Sarah to give me some kind of medicine. I'm feeling pretty groggy, but I'll get through it. Hope to see something really cool and exciting in the real world tomorrow. In the woods. Hope my trail cameras are still there and a bear hasn't ate them, and I got some real cool stuff on there. And please share your truth. Share your knowledge. Share your encouraging words for all the other good people here. And send it to shareitmystory@howtohunt.com, all right? And try not to be triggered. Try not to be a raging maniac. Just think rationally. Take care of your neighbor. Take care of each other, you know? See all the good. Celebrate the good. Stand up against the bad. Expose the bad. Don't take any shit from pieces of shit. Okay, I'm out of here, you guys. I'm out of here. I might be able to... We'll see what happens on the boat. Who knows? Maybe if I remember to bring the internet hookup with me and put it on the boat, who knows? Maybe I will take you guys for a live boat ride all the way down that inlet in the middle of Vancouver Island all the way back. I might be able to pull that off tomorrow. We'll see. Back later.